Hello everyone, welcome to Tangle with Tracy Anne. In this week's video we'll be doing some embossing to create a nice textured effect. If you have these pre-strung Zendala tiles, you could use one of them. I actually used one and then realised I'd use the last one, so I'll go back and show you how to create this string yourself. So I'm using mixed media paper, Strathmore mixed media paper, use whatever you like, and starting off with a very narrow border. And you can see I'm guiding that circle around with my middle finger touching the edge so that it has a nice even border. I'm going to use the Zendala Marcus Operandus from the Zentangle website, and I'll provide a link below. So I'm going to the first two marks on either side of that top mark and then doing the same at the bottom, and I'm placing a dot near those marks but on the actual border, and then the last two dots I'll be doing horizontally across on the zero or circles. Make sure I've got that center dot and using an arc-like motion. If you position your hand so that it's comfortable for you and move the tile around using that same arc motion. Now I'm going to come in about ½ inch and make a little dot on each one of those lines. I'll start from one of those corners and again using that arc-like motion, join the corner down to the dot on the next line. Do that on each one. Now I'm going to come down and about another ½ inch on each one of those lines. And now this time I'm going to go from the dot and make an arc-like motion back to that point on the border. And you can see it's making a kind of a bell-like shape. So there's the string done. To draw my patterns, I'm going to use a Micron 01 pen. I'm going to fill the next areas with some embossing. So I'm using this stylus and it has little balls on either end. So if I press down onto a piece of card, you can see it's making those indentations. One end has a slightly smaller ball than the other. If I zoom in, you can see the marks it creates. Now, if you don't have one of these, it's okay. Find a ballpoint pen that no longer works. And I seem to have heaps. And you can see it's making that same indentation. And now when you actually don't want it to work, it's working. So make sure your pen doesn't work and you can use that easily. So I'm going to start off and I'm going to draw printemps in this section. I'm pressing quite hard and I'm going to fill this whole area with printemps. In this next section, I'm going to do shattuck and alternate the two patterns. So I might actually use the smaller ball for this pattern. As I'm doing this, I notice that those little white marks I've made with the white charcoal pencil, I forgot to blend with my tortillon. So later on, I'll fix those up. Once I've finished all my embossing, I'm going to take just a plain pencil. I'm using a Zentangle pencil. A 2B is usually a good sort of pencil to use, nice and soft. Now I'm going to make sure that I hold this pencil on the side. If I hold it close to the edge, I'm going to end up colouring inside those indentations. So make sure you're only using the side of the pencil and just shade each one of those shapes. I can now blend this with a tortillon, but just like the pencil, make sure you hold it on its side. going to go back in with my pencil and make it a little bit darker at the edge. So I'm going to curve it up a little bit so it's got a bit of a darker lip there. And now I can go back in and do some shading on the rest of my tangling. So there's my finished result, and there's my example from before that I did on the Zentangle proper Zendala tile. You can see the difference in the paper. One's a little bit more creamy, and I think the Zendala tile has a little bit more texture to it. If you want to add colour, I've prepared a tile using these blue Mitsubishi pens, but they do smudge very easily. Here's one that I did with a Micron PN, a blue pen. I did mess up on this a little bit. I put the pattern in the wrong spot, and if I zoom in, you can see where I've tried to fix it up with a white gel pen. Anyway, now I've got this tile prepared, I'm going to take a coloured pencil. I'm using an Arteza pencil, but it doesn't really matter what kind of coloured pencil. And I'm just going to shade this the same way I did with just my normal pencil. The colour I'm using is a sapphire blue. To create that darker colour, I'm now using this midnight blue and creating that arc like I did when I darkened the other tile with the pencil. I'm going to keep using this midnight blue to shade the rest of my patterns. Now, one of the things I can do is start off pressing quite hard and then lighten the touch as I move away from that initial shading to soften it a little bit. If I wanted a more blended look, I can come in with a white pencil and go over my shading, and it just smooths it out a little bit. I went back in with my tortillon and smoothed out the white bits. So here are the finished tiles.
I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, do that so that you don't miss out on future videos. Thank you for watching, and until next week, stay safe and bye for now. If you'd like to see more of my videos, head over to my YouTube channel, or there are a couple of links here on the screen, and there's the subscribe button.